Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to another winners bracket match here in the Winter Oceania Grand Slam tournament. We got Aracium versus OtecYarika, and with me in the commentary booth here I have Logan.
Hello, everybody. It has been a while since I've been in the commentary booth, and I'm glad to be back, and I'm really excited for this match, honestly. We've seen a lot of crazy close matches and points and just score differences this weekend. This, I think, is going to be just as close as the other matches have been. What do you think, Crosspell?
Yeah, I think so too, because I wasn't too familiar with their exact performances, but looking at the stat sheets, their average scores are so similar, so probably gonna be some good points there. Some very hardly contested ones.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We have these two players are just two, I would dare say probably two of, if not the most players in the tournament. They've made absolutely easy work up to this point, and OtecYarika is really, really strong on the Rice. Like, I have seen Rice scores put out from him that I don't think anyone else in this tournament can match. Where we have Aracium, who is a lot more of an all-rounded consistency player. He comes into this match like barely missing on a map so far. So it's going to be really close and intense, I think.
That's definitely true, and I was shocked to see the insane seeding of OtecYarika scores on Rise in the previous rounds, because the average placing is so high. So I'm excited to see how they can do on this pool.
Yeah, exactly. Something to note with the seeding, we've, as I touched on, we've seen a lot of close seeded matchups. We saw Blue Potion versus Samitsu. That was seed 19 versus 20, went to tiebreaker. We saw Fushi VN versus Nugglewitch, seed 12 versus 13. That went to tiebreaker. Now we're seeing seed 4 versus seed 5. I think, I don't want to jinx it too ahead of time, but I think there's going to be a really close match on our hands here. As we're getting kind of into this first warm-up, looks to be quite a bit of a step up from the maps in the actual map pool, but definitely a good indicator as to kind of these players' physicality, what they're feeling like playing right now. This is a really crazy hybrid map.
Yeah, very dense, walls of long notes here. So,
yeah. I like describing those patterns where it's just you hold 3 notes and then another note comes in and then you release all 3 again and then they come back and in and out. Has that kind of unique look to it. You see it in some Reveal styled maps. And this map's only halfway over. This is 8 seconds below the maximum allowed warm-up time. That's really awesome.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen a lot of those just under 4 minutes. So.
Yeah, for sure we have. And I mean, it's always good. I haven't seen a lot of meme warm-ups. It seems like players are really kind of getting into the groove of things with their warm-ups rather than bringing some kind of silly custom thing they mapped in or just some joke map. It seems like they're really just kind of trying to play a map they enjoy, get the nerves eased up before the lobby or before the actual matches start in the lobby.
I think I've only seen one not actual map, so yeah. And OtecYarika, just dropping in the 19, okay.
Yeah, these accuracies are really, really close, and I mean, these players are so consistent and so in lockstep with each other. I definitely expect to see moments like this, but definitely won't have the players down in the 98%. It's going to be a lot more intense and sharp shooting than that.
I think with the physicality of these players, there's going to be a lot of act battles on especially the Rise picks and whatnot. So
yeah, I do wonder what these players' strategies are. I know both of these players are pretty consistent when it comes to practicing the pool, actually kind of planning their picks out. I mean, you do have Otek, who is definitely more well known for just going right into that Rice kind of accuracy focus category, I definitely expect to see like a Rice 6 or Rice 1 maybe get protected, picked. Have a couple other straightforward maps he could go for. Then for Aracium, he got the second highest hybrid score in the qualifiers on the Needy Player Overdose. He got the second highest score, so I kind of expect him to go for the hybrid route here, where that's the kind of maps that Otek kind of falls off on, but he has been practicing them and doing quite well.
Yeah, I'm expecting an interesting dynamic in the picks there, and we'll be getting... Okay, another warm-up. Another warm-up, okay.
And I'm going to guess by the mapper that this is Otek's warm-up, and the last warm-up was Aracium's. Not too sure, but X-Devil is a pretty old player, actually. They were a World Cup player back in the day, and they are Russian.
I feel like I remember their name on the leaderboards, like back in the day.
Yeah, they used to be really good, and I think they're still pretty active in the tournament community, but I don't think they play as much. They used to be a very, very good ACK player.
And
You see that reaction from Aracium. Wait, what, 148?
hold up.
There's always something with playing tournaments I've always thought about is it kind of calls into question how much you should warm up. Because I found there's definitely a point where you want to be warm and at your peak, but if you get like, if you're playing dense 150 BPM core jack and you go for that kind of warm up, it can actually, for me anyways, cause a little bit of sloppier play in the actual match because I'm a little more adept to just rushing patterns, not going for high accuracy, dropping misses to stabilize. So let's see how this 148 BPM, I assume it's just going to be dense-ish core jacks. Oh, there they go. Not too dense, more jump jacky, but still, get those 3-note anchors in there, it gets hard pretty quick.
I can't believe players nowadays can play this. This is... this looks so hard to me.
Yeah, players in this tournament being able to play this is very ridiculous.
Yeah, just like really surfing the patterns and just keeping it, the accuracy to like, god damn.
Exactly. God damn, indeed. I can't say it quite as epic as you, but this map, definitely a step up from our Jack map. Our Jack map is only, I believe, 112 BPM.
Yeah. Just a chill 112, I guess. Yeah, we have 148 for 3 minutes. So.
And also, look at how consistent these, like, okay, Aracium's starting to find a little bit of struggle as the quads come in and it gets a little denser to read, but for that little bit there, they were literally, like, missing at the same time on the same kind of, like, finger transitions in the jacks. That was really crazy to watch.
Yeah, so despite Aracium like dropping some chain misses, the difference in points isn't gigantic, so...
Yeah. And for those just joining and don't really haven't looked at the bracket, this is going to be our winner's bracket match, our last winner's bracket match of the weekend to determine the 4 players moving into the winner's semis. Loser of this isn't done. They're going to be facing off in the loser's bracket next weekend. I'm not sure if their matchup is already determined. I'm going to look at that real quick. It is not. Whoever loses has to face the winner of a match that we have later today, Sider versus Koziulu. And the winner is going to be facing against GB Chicken Gold himself. So,
oh god.
definitely competing for a intense match next weekend.
I'm seeing the lead just sort of grow to in the ending here. Some more chill patterning. This is so Russia core, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. It's very Russians have a very unique taste, I have to say, in terms of their mapping preferences. It is really interesting because you wouldn't think there'd be that much I guess, cultural diversity in Mania mapping, but Russian mapping is its own little scene, and it kind of focuses a lot more on kind of rudimentary patterning that really tests your fundamentals. And yeah, it looks like Otec's going to be coming out on top of that warm up. And going into the roles, I'm definitely excited to see what's going to be kind of protected, picked, banned here. What are your thoughts on what they're going to do?
Well, my first thought immediately is just like OtecYarika just protecting like some sort of rice. Not sure exactly what, but
Yeah, I definitely agree. Oh, and Otek is going to get that first tech as he rolled nearly 100.
okay.
So we'll see. I'm kind of expecting an instant Rice 6, but Aracium is really good at consistency, and I've only seen one match with 2 FCs on Rice 6. Okay, so I was wrong, but my kind of second pick, yeah, Rice 1.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like Tropical April for these two players is just gonna be an outright accuracy map. So
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of the easiest maps of the pool, and people like OtecYarika, he very much specializes in that jump stream accuracy. Where Aracium, I think he'll still put up a good FC, but I think it is a wise protect nonetheless. We're gonna get a hybrid 3 protect out of Aracium and an LN2 ban. Ooh. Wait a minute. Aracium banning LN. That's kind of not what I expected even a little bit.
yeah, not like because as you predicted, like Aracium protecting the hybrids, one of the hybrids. But I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to ban something.
Hybrid 3. Yeah, definitely. I think it goes both ways, where it might show that Aracium is not going to be as comfortable on the LNs compared to Otek as we might think. Hybrid 1 going to get that second ban. Very choke-heavy map. I think that's a good idea when Aracium can full combo pretty much everything in this pool. I think it might be a statement of confidence out of Aracium, though, and we'll see if it pays off, leaving all the rices open and leaving that playground open for Otek and saying, all right, I can play these too. So let's see how that goes.
Immediately Rice 6, okay. Or
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, for a second I thought Rice 6 was Rice 7. Okay, that makes more sense.
Definitely going to be a crazy first map, starting out on Jax. If you're a player, which I don't think either of these players really are, but if you're a player kind of tensed up and nervous, starting on Jax is always kind of miserable because you're just like, your hands just don't really work the same, and Jax you just need a lot of a distinct amount of coordination, I would say, compared to something you can kind of autopilot on. I don't know, that's my kind of experience with it, but I think these two players are going to be just fine on this map. It is rather dense, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting some sort of ratio battle here, and both players just praying not to drop too many 200s, or if any, really.
The gambit being thrown in the chat. If I don't get 999, I will forfeit.
Okay.
Definitely a statement of confidence there. Don't know if it's a joke yet or not, because this definitely is a map where someone who is insanely good at Riceac could do that.
You never know here. It takes a little bit of time for the map to sort of really start, but
yeah, this map it starts up kind of slow, but then gets right into it. From here on out, it's pretty much straight chord jacks. You get one break later, and the accuracy, it's actually a bit lower than I was expecting. Looks like Otek's hitting slightly on that early side. Aracium's a little more spread out but centered.
Yeah, just really similar accuracies from both of them. OtecYarika managing to reach the 99.9 points, but it could go any way. We're only halfway through the map here.
Yeah, I think it might harken back to what I was saying, where they started out a little shaky, just because that's how starting the first map's always going to feel. Now they're in. Otek is running away, and Aracium just has to chase if he wants to get this first point, and it's not looking insanely undoable. I mean, it's only 0.4 act. That is one, maybe two 200s.
Yeah, like any mistake here is gonna be very detrimental, and at the same time, I don't know if these players are gonna make mistakes. At least not too many of them. So
yeah, this is a very impressive opening for both players, honestly, getting into the final section of this dense chord jack, and neither of them are budging on the act, but OtecYarika going to have a slightly higher accuracy. He's going to get that 997.
Okay. If this isn't telling of how this match is gonna go, then yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely the statement that you want to make if you're OtecYarika, that you have the better rice accuracy. And now Aracium has to figure out what he wants to do from here. Both players being self-deprecating in the chat after destroying the map. You love to see it.
You're
Wow.
allowed to brag about yourself, guys. Okay. Hybrid 3.
First picking a protect is always, it's something I've done a lot in tournaments, because I often feel like you just want to protect the map you're most consistent at, and you also kind of want to start on the map you're most consistent at sometimes. So looks like that's how it might be lining up for Aracium right now. And this is going to be Destination Moon. It's not quite the same structure as the map we just saw, but it still does have that kind of slower build up and then gets right into it kind of feel.
Yeah, it's a bit progressive. I feel like there's quite a few maps like that in this particular map, like Rise 2 and whatnot. So, and that can throw you off if you're not prepared, if you're not feeling it.
And as all the players very well should know at this point, Hybrid 3 is our kind of SV leaning hybrid, our wild card, if you will. So we'll see. Otek said he wanted to ban this. I don't know if that means he didn't practice or if he just knows Aracium's going to kind of kill it. I definitely do expect a pretty good showing out of Aracium with this map.
Yeah, I don't know if I like what Otek said in the chat right before. I don't remember the SVs, so hopefully they remember the SVs.
Yeah, luckily it's pretty forgiving on, or has been so far with these wildcard hybrids, where even if you don't remember the exact SVs, every note is a telegraph to be normalized. I always blank on that word. Where even if you're kind of sight reading it, it's gonna stay in the same position. There's no crazy teleports or speed ups that are gonna throw you way off that you have to memorize. It does help to know the general rhythm of this drop, though, as we get closer to it. The LN accuracy falling to Otek, but it is a negligible difference.
Yeah, just sort of flicking through the whole start of this map. Tiny stuff of advantage to Otek. And slowly getting into it.
Already a drop! Wow!
No!
Wow, he better not take his hands off the keyboard or he's gonna fail the map. That was crazy. Definitely wasn't expecting the SVs to start even. So you can definitely see how he said didn't know the SVs that well. But he picked it up very well afterward, and Aracium doing an amazing job on that drop, keeping a 99.6. Yeah, both players did pretty good, but just Otek getting scared out by that SV start, and it's going to give Aracium a pretty quick and easy first point. Both players on the board.
Yeah, really well picked from Aracium. Just getting a point on the board early is going to be very valuable for the rest of the match, really.
Yeah.
And getting it on the protect nonetheless is very nice.
Yeah, definitely knows that you kind of analyzed yourself and your opponent correctly, and you picked good. we actually see the accuracy here. The ratio would have fallen to Otek even with those kind of hiccups in the beginning. So that's something interesting to note moving into the other kind of hybrid picks. And Otek's going to go right into his Protect now, which is going to be Tropical April 1.1.
I'm predicting a... well, I'm hoping for a very good performance from OtecYarika. Just looking at the stats, like, he's definitely able to put up like really consistent great performances on these sort of simpler ice picks with like a rigid rhythm. So,
I agree. Yeah, exactly. Just the kind of... when you have a map like a jump stream map where you know how it's going to be snapped and how your fingers are going to feel playing it, you can kind of just autopilot and shoot for as many of those perfects as possible.
So it's just a matter of just keeping the focus up and trying not to like slip up a finger here and there, suddenly get a miss.
This definitely isn't a map that's going to be too prone to dirty misses. I think if a miss does come out, it's not going to affect the accuracy too much, but I also think that both players are very capable of FCing, so one miss could spell doom in the juxtaposing players' direction.
Definitely. I'm seeing a mirror for OtecYarika.
Interesting. Could be that he overplayed it a little and mind blocked, or literally could just be like he finds one of the rolls up here a little easier on mirror. But as we get into this kind of calm opening, map will start very shortly with its actual bulk of what it is, which is going to be just 200 BPM jump stream. Definitely the simplest pick in the pool, except maybe for Rice 6.
Yeah, it's just gonna start with this pattern and it's gonna keep giving you that pattern. So seeing OtecYarika just start climbing, even though he's already at 99.94. Okay.
Wow, this is a showing right now. Aracium's not doing bad. He's definitely going to be in the ballpark if any mistakes are made, but this is an accuracy that, like, players well above the skill level of this tournament would not be able to keep up with. So, this is it's very insane. Shooting right into that 99.95 and keeping it halfway through. You get a little break.
And as you said, oh, breaking there. No.
You know, when you get those, yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, like Aracium was having like really good accuracy, but OtecYarika just having phenomenal accuracy. But with that miss, yeah.
It would definitely take a catastrophe to swing it back this late now as we get into some hands getting thrown in back into this jump stream structure. Yeah, Aracium finding that unfortunate drop on the break section, just letting his fingers get a little too relaxed there, probably just trying to conserve for that next part. And we're going to see the 998K.
998, what? Hello, is this MWC? What?
Yeah, Otek is a very quickly improving player, just coming from 2-shot cup into this, where he was already getting pretty good Rice accuracy. Now he's getting phenomenal accuracy. This is the kind of stuff that players who are experienced with jump stream still struggle to get.
Yeah, and this is like in match. Like, I wonder what their PB is locally. Like,
that might have been it. I know he posted a Hard Rock SS, which is
okay,
very impressive given how kind of abrasive those rolls are.
I couldn't imagine this on only 10, but
yeah, for sure. I can't be bad at jump stream. I'm Russian. That is very true. Russia in the competitive community, known for its more jump stream consistency players. Even going back to the old days, you had players like Arachnon. Now you have players like Nepco and Distire, who just can play literally anything. But getting back to these players, Aracium's going to be picking our love. So he banned LN, but now he's going to go right into the LN. It's kind of what we saw in actually the that match, we saw Ya ban LN and then go right into LN.
Yeah, like
Actually, it might have been the other way around. I'm a little brain foggy right now.
it was something along those lines, so it's close enough, but
just kind of shows the different skill sets that these maps have. This map, definitely the most kind of, it's very coordination focused. It's got some speedy aspects in it, and it's almost hybrid-y in nature with how many extra rice notes you have to hit alongside the LNs. It takes a kind of certain niche in your reading ability to be able to really navigate some of these patterns, and we'll see how it goes. Otek already finding a little bit lower accuracy, but we're not really into the meat and potatoes just yet.
yeah. Okay, pretty much. Oh, with a 200, I think, from Aracium. OtecYarika going to be taking a tiny lead here in the beginning.
Yeah, you get these like coat hanger LN patterns where you just have to you hold that longer one and then tap that shorter one. It's kind of throwing Aracium's coordination off, and so we're going to see Otek actually take that ACK lead, and he's actually gained ACK since this drop has started into the 99.8.
Yes, somehow just keeping it going here. Oh no.
Oh, and you hate to see that already kind of bleeding accuracy and finds the miss right when you're going into the break section. It's just going to be combo for Otek to bank, and this lead's probably going to get to about 15,000.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly hard coming back from that. OtecYarika just staying at a really consistent accuracy. Despite the patterns sort of changing up a little bit, just keeping it going.
For sure. And we get into this second half, which is going to be a little more... I don't know whether to call this release or coordination, but either way, Aracium not having that good of a time with it, where Otek literally has just stood still and kind of just made the statement of, come get me, because I'm just going to stay at 99.8.
Yeah, like, not budging whatsoever.
Finally, he bleeds 200. That might be his only 200 of the map. Oh, he got another.
Okay. 200? 3, okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, we see like Aracium holding up a really good performance overall, but keeps slipping up on particular patterns, which it's gonna be hard to keep up with OtecYarika's just insane consistency.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about how Aracium's really consistent. Otek's actually kind of trying to take that crown of consistency king right now, doing much better than before according to his chat. So he's probably kind of peaking after that 998 on the jump stream, going into unfamiliar territory, but actually managing to excel in it under the pressure.
Just really surfing on the wave here, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what you gotta do when you're in these matches. It's a lot more motivation and morale related than just pick a map and get a score, right? Like, Otek is on a killer session right now, where Aracium, I think he's definitely performing below his standard. Not to say that he's performing bad, but definitely just sometimes you get in the lobby and things don't line up right away. But this is a first to 6 points match, best of 11. Otek's only halfway there, and Aracium has plenty of maps and time to turn this around. We're going to go into Vizcracked for the next pick.
Yeah, and Vizcracked will be the first sort of messy hybrid, rice pick. So it's not going to be the jacks, it's not going to be the jump streams, but the mixed and sort of techy rice. So maybe we'll see something different there.
I definitely think that I can see coming off of Rice 1 into this, if you're still able to kind of hold that autopilot state and just keep the accuracy, you can definitely get through this with a really good score. It's definitely a bit harder to do so, though. And this is the kind of map where we saw in qualifiers, Aracium got pretty high across the board, but then dipped into around, I think it was 12th or 13th on Rice. So I think this highly technical Rice might be kind of where he starts to struggle a little. But he did still get that FC in the end, even on a map like Stage 2, Shiver. So going into these structures, we see not much of a difference.
Yeah, just staying almost exactly the same with Aracium, just dropping a little bit.
Yeah, this just straight stream section benefits Otek a little now. I think Aracium found a couple more 200s, where Otek's, I think, only sitting on one. Then we have this repetitive kind of techie stream. Get those little 3-note trills, and both players. Oh my
no.
gosh! Right as I say it, and Aracium keeping that theme of right before or right when it's just kind of letting up a little too much on the pressure, and this is actually going to be a long break section that Otek is just going to bank combo in for.
Yeah, missing before such a break section like this is probably one of the worst places, and from this point, from the halfway point there, it's just gonna slowly progress into a more sort of messy map, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. You're going to have some broken stream coming up here, and it's not going to change up too much from what we've already seen. It is a little bit more rolly. And then we have kind of a mixed jack in stream section at the end. Otek's going to trade back. That's his first drop of the match, besides that hybrid 3 slip.
Yeah, and Aracium will be trying to build up a little bit of accuracy here after their drop. OtecYarika seeming to have a pretty clean miss there, but getting into some awkward chill sections there, we'll see if something changes.
Yeah, and just looking at the pure accuracy, it is a 0.2 accuracy difference, and that's what's causing this 4,000 points of lead. Any other miss from Otek, though, which is very easy to do when you have this kind of one node into hand jacks, could shift it back. So Aracium doing a good job just sitting in the passenger seat, waiting for any mistake to be made, which is going to have to come up pretty quick as we get into this final part of Broken Stream.
OtecYarika dropping a 100. But still, there's so many notes, but OtecYarika taking it in the end there.
Yeah, only 6,000 points, which I think on a harder rice map like this, it's not that big of a difference. Like, both players definitely had the sweats a little bit there.
Yeah, like if Aracium just had slightly better accuracy and OtecYarika perhaps dropping one more miss, it would have been a different story, but it just comes down to the moment they're playing the map, and it's gonna be very hard.
Yeah. And now we're going to get into a pivotal pick from Aracium. This is, if it's a worst case scenario, this is their last pick, because Otek could win this, then pick something of their own and win it. Aracium has to really find a way to kill that momentum right now. And you see he is thinking about it.
Whoa!
Wow, that is a crazy pick.
Okay,
I'm loving the Rice 7 picks. There's been a lot of them this weekend, and I honestly didn't really expect it, bringing in a 5-minute map. But this is going to be Chihiro. Full song, very trill-oriented, very consistency-oriented. I'm not sure how much I like this pick, given what we've kind of seen from the accuracy standpoint, but definitely going to be a map that's just going to be decided by fluke misses.
It's definitely a I'd like to describe this as just a focus map. Like, just keep your focus up, and hopefully it'll just kind of stay in the rhythm and the groove.
Yeah, and this isn't like a long jump stream map where you can just kind of lock in and play that same pattern. This changes up on you so much. You have different snap trills into each other. You have a jacky kind of section. You have streamy, Gracie dump aspects. It's not the most physical map. I think it can compare to some of the round of 16 maps in terms of physicality at times, but just the consistency element alone definitely makes this a challenge.
Yeah, just like the small bursts and the occasional mini jacks and whatnot can catch you off guard. when it's otherwise pretty chill. So
Yeah, and getting into the kind of opening of the map, it even takes a little while to get past this first 400 combo. We're seeing a little bit of a deficit from Aracium.
yeah, and since it's such a long map, it's only amounting to like 200 points of difference.
Yeah, it's not going to be that much starting out just because how long this map is. But we see now 200's turned into 3, 3's turned into 4, starting to turn into 5. Just accuracy is going to compound like that when it's higher on this longer map as we get into the first real change-up section of these trills.
Yeah, like if this is gonna be the story of the entire map, then it's just gonna cause a bleeding effect for Aracium, essentially. The points are just gonna slowly go in favor of Otek.
Yeah, good way to put it. Definitely going to bleed over. But
Otek, yeah, 99.9 now.
I do have to say it is good to see Aracium kind of finding composure. I think that might be what he was looking for. Just those more physical maps, they'd change up into the break section and he'd kind of either from nerves, maybe stamina, maybe hands are a little colder than he'd like, finding a miss. I think maybe he was really looking for a pick that he knows he can kind of just coast through a little more, focus on that accuracy, and just, if not hope Otek misses, just try to get his mental state back in terms of seeing everything.
Yeah, that's a good point, and like as you said earlier, like Aracium is fundamentally like a really good consistency player, so hoping to get some ground on this map.
And this score difference, it's moving up a little, as we said, just with Otek having that higher accuracy, but the accuracy itself has not really changed. You just have Aracium at high 99.7s, Otek at high 99.8s, and it's gonna take a choke to mess with that. We got out of that first kind of quaddy chord jack section just fine.
Yeah, and just being halfway through the map here, no, absolutely no like notable drops or anything. Just both of them are staying in like respective accuracy groups, I guess.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's that kind of map where if you're consistent like both these players are, it's not really a matter of getting tired, but it's just a matter of how long you can stay at that exact accuracy. Like they're both at their max in terms of what they can do, and it's just going to take a miss from Otek to swing this back, or even a few 200s could do it, but 2,000 points, it's starting to look a little bit more dire.
Yeah, definitely, and even like since we started talking about it, they're both just sitting at the same accuracy, so
We do get into these mini jacks, and 3 minutes into this map where you haven't really had to do a lot of fast hand transitions, and all of a sudden you have to coordinate mini jacks with the Graces, it can definitely be something that throws players off, but literally both players shaved 0.1, and that's it. That's all the changes. Oh, a 200 does come out from Otek early.
And even that
and
puts
another.
quite a dent in the score difference.
And that's really what kind of practicing the map can help with. I'm sure Otek wasn't really ready for some of those transitions to get that 100% clean accuracy that he definitely was capable of getting on that section. But getting into this final jack section, we're going to have to see something right now from Otek for Aracium to get that second point, or it's going to be a very dire situation.
Yeah, both players seem to be really gaming through it.
Gaming through it, indeed. It's so funny to be in such an intense situation, like a tournament match, and it's just Billie Eilish music playing. I love this dynamic, honestly. Very impressive. Both players just killed that map. It was just like in the previous match. Both players got 993. Now we have a 993 and a 995. Like, this winner's bracket does not care about these 5-minute picks.
You know, the consistency here is just fantastic, and it seems to be on the ratio here, the difference in points.
Definitely. So just Aracium clutched up as much as he could, only found that 1-200. Just sadly, when you're in this situation where someone's having your perfect count almost, it's not really going to be winnable without some sort of bigger miss. But still, that might be a good start to a comeback. Now that Aracium's found their footing, this next pick, they could win it. Then they have that momentum to try and get the reverse sweep they would need at this point. As it stands now, though, 1-5, and Otec's going to pick the worst.
Oh yeah, the second longest rice pick.
Yeah, these players just like their long maps, I guess. You always have that dynamic of player picks long map, other player goes, "Oh, really?" But I mean, then they turn around, and this map is very long in itself, and it's a little bit more tricky in some aspects. It's a lot more speed focused than Chihiro.
Yeah, like the layering and like the density of the nodes isn't super high, but yeah, the actual speed itself is really difficult to deal with on this one. Just being quite physical.
And another thing about this map, it's even more so than something like Vizcracked, where it does have those repeating structures. You're having things mapped to Polyphia guitarists, like, which genuinely just does a different little thing every single like measure. So there's no consistency really with what's happening in. I mean, there's rhythmic consistency, it's there, but there's not going to be that consistent ground to lie on in terms of hitting notes to a structured rhythm.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to get in the head of the Polyphia guitarist and just get that flow going.
Exactly. And as we get into this opening, again, it's the tale that keeps on telling itself. Otec's just 1% or 0.1% up, and both players are staying consistent at that.
Yeah, it perplexes me how they can do this. It's both players just keeping incredible accuracies. No way Otek is building accuracy now.
As we get into the more dense streams, it's not affecting Otec at all. He's actually profiting off it, getting a little bit of a rush there to drop down into the lower 99.9s, but we'll have to see whether the increasing density of this map is very back-ended. It's just gets more and more build-up-y and intense as we go. We'll see if that benefits Aracium or Otec more. Otec already able to put a pretty fair 2k lead on Aracium just on that ag, and we're halfway.
Yeah, just both players dropping the slightest bit of accuracy, and just both players staying at their combos, and that's gonna allow OtecYarika to build a small little lead halfway through the map.
Lead. And with the break section just about over, looks like Aracium's really settling in compared to before, not finding any of those sloppy drops that we were seeing before, and getting back into the more intense guitarism. Those drum fill jump trills don't mess with anyone, really.
Yeah, OtecYarika building a little bit, and Aracium dropping just the slightest bit. Last third of the map here can be prone to misses.
It doesn't seem like Aracium's getting very tired at all. Just looking at their hit concentration, it's still centered. But when you're against someone who I will just flat out say is the best Rice player in this tournament, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, no, like when we have to compare a player to OtecYarika, It's gonna be so difficult. Like, Aracium is playing super well, but what can one really do here?
And as we get into these drills, they squeeze in. They get faster as they start, but it's not doing anything. Oh, but it does something now. And I think there's going to be time for this to shift back.
No, what?
But Aracium's going to trade it. Wow.
No. Oh, what?
There's definitely going to be a pit in the stomach of Aracium as the map closes, knowing that they had full control and in that last 50 notes just dropped it.
Oh. Just seeing the combo of OtecYarika, just, oh no.
I'm lucky today.
Really, really well played.
Yeah, very insane match. Definitely harkens back to He's versus Yo a little. It was definitely evident that Otek was able to perform a little better on the maps, but looking at this result and seeing just 6-1 definitely doesn't tell the full tale of how close this was and how skilled both of these players are. Aracium definitely going to be an insanely scary opponent as the pools start to get harder in that lower bracket.
Yeah, and OtecYarika will be moving on in the winners bracket. Looking scary from the quarterfinals here, so...
Yeah, and we see the bracket. Otek coasting up through, only dropping a couple points every match, but they're definitely going to have their toughest match yet in the semifinals, as it's going to be versus Chicken Gold, the #1 seeded player who has just been destroying the maps.
I'm actually like very excited for this match.
Yeah, that is going to be a legendary match. And alongside Beanlie versus He's, you see Aracium's going to drop down, and Sider versus Cozy is going to be who they will face, whoever wins that match, that is. And that is, I think, also going to be a close match. Two players with very similar play styles, with not the highest accuracy, but pretty much able to combo anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I got tons of, well, we got some great matches left here today, so...
Yeah, and our next match, speaking of that, is going to be
that's one.
19 UTC. It's going to be the match we were talking about, Sider versus Cozy. Definitely one you're going to want to stick around for if you are in the Western Hemisphere. Just going to be a little later this afternoon. If you're not, you might be going to bed before it starts, but we'll keep you updated on how it goes. With that, though, I think we're good to sign off for now. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Not really. Good luck to the players the rest of the weekend.
Good luck indeed. Well, this has been the WOGST, and we are out.